Glenn started in the music business at the age of 11, first as a drum roadie, and then as a bass player in a few local garage bands. Glenn had never taken vocal lessons, but the first time he auditioned for the role of a vocalist, he was surprised at the powerful voice he could achieve. His vocal prowess soon got him noticed in the local scene. Throughout his teenage years he sang for several local bands, such as Talus and Whodat and Boojang, most of which played half original songs and half Black Sabbath songs. In 1977, 21-year-old Glenn Danzig got serious about music, wanting to do an all-original band. So he started the Misfits, taking the band's name from Marilyn Monroe's last film. The Misfits combined campy horror and sci-fi lyrics or imagery with Danzig's melodic vocals backed by chaotic punk thrashing. In 1983, after releasing several singles, 2 full albums and gaining a small, but devoted underground following, Glenn disbanded the Misfits due to increasing animosity among the band members and his dissatisfaction with their musical abilities. He devoted his full attention to another band project, which he had already begun working on, called Samhain. Samhain was a darker, more occult and real-life horror-themed band that strayed from the tongue-in-cheek imagery of the Misfits. Samhain released 2 full-length albums and an EP of gritty deathrock music. Glenn Danzig circa 1990. During this time, Glenn took an interest in Eastern philosophy, and aspired to reach his peak physical and mental condition. He stopped his reckless drinking, undertook serious bodybuilding and began to study martial arts, namely Jeet Kune Do, founded by Bruce Lee. In 1987, Samhain was signed to a major label and the name of the band was changed to Danzig. The band consisted of lead guitarist John Christ, bassist Eerie and former Black Flag drummer Chuck Biscuits. Glenn continued to evolve his music into a combination of dark, brooding heavy metal and classic blues. In 1993, Glenn Danzig reached the height of his popularity, and broke into the mainstream when the live video for his song Mother became a hit on MTV 5 years after the original song was recorded. In 1995, after 4 dark and bluesy hard rock albums, the band underwent a complete overhaul. The original lineup had fallen apart, as had Danzig's relationship with their record label American Recordings. Glenn enlisted new bandmates, signed to a new label and began recording Black Sabbath, the 5th Danzig album. With Black Sabbath, Glenn once again altered the direction of his music, this time infusing heavy metal with industrial rock. Danzig's subsequent musical offerings have strayed from the industrial influence of Black Sabbath, focusing instead on dark and heavy doom metal. The Danzig band lineup continued to change with the albums, although Danzig's later releases never got the mainstream attention of the Mother single. The band has maintained a worldwide cult following. In 2005, Danzig's tours to support the Circle of Snakes album in the Blackest of the Black Festival have been notable for the special guest appearance of Doyle, the Misfits' most prominent guitarist, who has become an iconic figure to fans of the band. Doyle joined Danzig on stage for a set of classic Misfits songs to the ecstatic approval of fans. Glenn, who had been shooting down rumors of a Misfits reunion for many years, has stated that seeing him perform with Doyle is as close as anyone will ever get to seeing a true Misfits reunion. But apart from that, this is Glenn Danzig's best song. Let It Be Captured. Kicking off our top 10 Danzig songs list is this track taken from their 4th album Danzig 4, released in 1994. This song is a ballad that is one of Glenn Danzig's greatest vocal performances. This album was the last in the Danzig catalog to feature the original lineup. This album marked a turn in musical direction for the band, being much more experimental in nature. Let it be captured in my Wicked Pussycat. Next up we have a song from Danzig's 7th album Danzig 777 Luciferi. It was the first single to be taken from the album. This album marked a point where the band finished with the more experimental style and went back to their more straight rock sound from their earlier years. With that said, the sound and production have a more modern feel. Dirty Black Summer. This next track is taken from the group's 3rd album Danzig 3 How the Gods Kill, and was one of the tracks from the album to have a music video produced. It is a popular song in the band's catalog and a favorite of their live sets. It is a great song that has a really good sense of rock and roll swagger. Devil's Plaything. Next we have a track from the 2nd album Danzig 2 Lucifuge, released in 1990. This song is a classic Danzig number in every sense of the word. It is a mid-paced thumper where Glenn puts in a very soulful performance. Like a lot of the band's music, the lyrics are obviously based around occult themes. Killer Wolf. Here is another song taken from the second album. The song has a bluesy swagger and is about a man who stalks young women. On the surface, it comes across as a little bit creepy as a choice for lyrical subject matter. But on the other hand, you just have to take into account that Danzig songs are generally about dark and disturbing subjects. Tired of Being Alive. And here we have yet another song from the second album, as the title of the song would suggest. The subject matter here is very heavy, obviously implying suicidal thoughts. However, despite this, it is not a sad-sounding song and is actually somewhat upbeat while still having a morose vibe to it. It is another mid-paced where guitarist John Christ really gets to shine. Am I Demon? At number 3 we have a track from the first album. This Sabbath-esque track is one that takes lyrical inspiration from horror themes which Danzig has always utilized since his days with the Misfits. As well as Black Sabbath, the riff style here is clearly influenced by a lot of classic metal, with it also being rather reminiscent of the likes of Iron Maiden and several other new wave of British heavy metal acts. She Rides. Just of the top spot is a song that is taken from the first album that is one of several songs from the record to have its own music video. It refers to the mythology of Lilith, with some of the lyrics referencing traditional methods for binding demons. Down inside your skin it shines. Mother. At the top spot is Danzig's signature song taken from their self-titled debut released in 1988. Another version of it was released in 1993 titled Mother 93. It is their highest charting single, peaking at number 17 on the Billboard Hot Mainstream Rock charts and number 62 in the UK.